Hey guys, my name is Taylor Frazier, and for my digital story, I want to talk about one of the most influential people in my life up to date. Her name is Lori Bird. Yes, Bird, but that's beside the point. When I was a freshman in high school, I was on the JV team. I always wanted to be on the varsity team. I actually looked up to them quite a bit, even though they had a killer losing streak. The summer before my sophomore year, I found out we were going to have a new coach. I wasn't sure if this was a good thing or not. I would have to prove myself and start from the bottom in order to get to the top. But I guess everybody else did too. This new coach was hard on us. We ran a lot. We got yelled at a lot. She was changing us as individuals, but I promise it was for the better. She believed in us, and that was new for our program. Believe. She always repeated that 7-letter word over and over again. Believe, 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 and believe. She could see that we had potential to be great, and she never gave up on us. There were 4 of us girls that were more than just 4 girls on a volleyball team. We were sisters. We were the quad that believed in each other. I think that we believed in each other more than everyone else believed in us. We went to summer camps in order to grow, learn, and see where we were going to be for the following season. The summer of 2012, we ended up going to a camp at Black Hill State and winning. That seemed to be the moment for Coach, that all of us seniors knew that we had the potential to be great. We had that feeling within ourselves. We believed in ourselves. But we wouldn't have believed in ourselves if it wasn't for the lady on the sideline that encouraged us to believe in ourselves. She encouraged us to believe in each other. We came off of this high from winning at Black Hill State and were so excited for season. And then we found out our senior setter, Christian Vila, was moving. No. This couldn't happen, so we didn't let it happen. My parents are wonderful people. Let me rephrase that. Wonderful people. Christian ended up moving in with my family and living with us for all of volleyball season. Bringing somebody into the house and sharing a room with them for 4 months was hard. But hey, we knew there was a championship on the line. We had to do what we had to do in order to win. The very first day of practice, Coach Bird and Coach Brew took us into the school lobby. They asked us to take a look around and see how many volleyball trophies we could find. After looking, we were in shock. There was not one state volleyball championship trophy, and the rest of the trophies were very minimal. That had to change. We knew that had to change. Knowing we could be the first team to win a state championship for Torrington High School literally made my skin crawl. So now knowing this, it was go time. We had work to do. Deep inside, we knew we could do it. We believed in ourselves, we believed in each other, and Coach Bird and Coach Brew believed in us. To this day, I still remember Coach Bird saying, "How cool would it be if you came back in 20 years for your class reunion to see a state trophy with your name on it?" To the rest of the state, though, we were just another team that was competing for a title, and I was just another senior that would show up, working my butt off day in and day out in order to get to the state championship. We were unranked in the state. Douglas and Star Valley were the big guys, the head honchos, that everyone had their eyes on. We were just another team that got pushed to the back burner. Let me go back to Lori Bird though. From the very first day of two-a-days, she told us that this year we would be different. She told us that all we had to do was believe in each other and believe in ourselves. And we could make a difference. We could make a difference for each other. So preseason rankings came out, and guess who wasn't ranked? The Torrington Trailblazers. That just meant that we had work to do. The season went on, and we bounced back from 4th to 5th place. 4th to 5th, 4th to 5th. Douglas and Star Valley were always competing for 1st and 2nd. We had to be above. We would be, eventually. The regional tournament came up, and it was go time. You play your heart out all season long, but it seems like regionals and state is where you really have to prove yourself. We went into regionals ranked number 2, and in the first round we played the number 7 team, Buffalo. We ended up beating them in 3. In the semifinals we played the number 3 ranked team, Glen Rock. That whole game was a nail-biter, but we ended up winning in 5. Next was the championship. We made it. We played Douglas. It's not that we were scared of Douglas, but we were scared of Douglas. They were the number 1 ranked team in the state and had been most of the season. We ended up playing them in 5 games, and it definitely wasn't an easy battle. We won the 5th set 15-11. What a weekend that was. We beat the number 1 team in the state. We were regional champions, and we were going into the state championship as the number 1 team from the east side. We weren't done though, and there was no stopping us now. We had a job to finish. The next 3 days of practice were anything but easy while prepping for the state tournament. We focused on each individual team. You couldn't look at the end result because every game you played was just as important as the next. If you lost one game, there goes your championship. Coach constantly reminded us to live in the moment, believe in yourself, and believe in each other. Our first game in the state tournament, we played Lyman. They were the number 4 ranked team from the west side. We beat them in 3. Semifinals was next. We played Powell, but we were fighting to play either Douglas or Star Valley in the championship. What a matchup. We ended up beating Powell in 4, and Star Valley ended up beating Douglas in 5. We were so excited to play Star Valley because it was a team that we had never once played this year. Something new. October 27th was the big day. It was the day. We were playing in the championship game, and we had the opportunity to make history for the little town of Torrington, Wyoming. We had lost the first game 18-25. The second game was ours, in the bag, 25-20. The third game was theirs, 23-25. The fourth game was ours, 25-22. We weren't going down without a fight, and neither were they. The fifth game was a battle, the whole entire way, but we did it. We ended up winning the fifth game 15-13, and that had completed the match. We were the 2012 3A state volleyball champions. We made history simply because we believed. We believed in ourselves, and we believed in each other. That season was by far one of the most rewarding seasons of my life. Not because I won a state championship though, but because I learned so many lessons. I learned what it's like to be a team. We all have our own individual talents, but singly, that wouldn't get us anywhere. As a team, you can achieve more. You can achieve greatness. These girls were my extended family. I learned what it's like to have people believe in you. These people support me through the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I would support them through the good, the bad, and the ugly. I learned that if you pay attention to the small things, the big things will take care of themselves. Let me rephrase that for you. Pay attention to the little details, like your footing on blocking, where to stand on that little corner on the floor on defense. Do you hit line or do you hit cross? Tip or hit? Campfire? The little things pay off. The little things are very rewarding. How you practice is how you play, and we would never remember those days of practice where we thought we were going to die. We will always remember the moment we became champions. Always. Good, better, best, never rest, till good be better and better best. That's probably one of the largest takeaways. Mediocrity might get the job done, but really, does it define you as a person? We weren't working to be mediocre. We were working to be champions. There's always room to improve, and you should never settle for being average, ever. I had a conversation with Lori Bird earlier this week about volleyball and coaching and that 2012 season. We reminisced on the memories and got stuck on some pretty interesting topics. We talked about core values and instilling them in your players. I asked her what core values meant to her, and this is what she said. In any team sport, you must have the core values of trust, loyalty, teamwork, and to believe in one another. This is what I wanted to instill in each and every one of my players. So, remember when I told you guys that she lived off of that believe word? That's because it was one of her core values. She definitely instilled it in all of us, if I remember it 5 years down the road. The next thing I asked her was, on the very first day of two-a-days, did you think that we were going to be state champions? Her answer to this was, you have to remember I had coached you guys for 2 years before that. I knew how hard we had worked and how it was coming together. I believed at summer camp that summer at Black Hills State that we could be in the hunt. That's when I convinced Tony Bila to let Christian stay with your family. I knew that we had a chance, so to answer your question, yes. Let me remind you again. There's that word believe. I knew what the next answer would be to this question, but I wanted to ask anyways. What's a key word or positive phrase that changed your life in a positive way? Believe was her answer. And control what you can control. I always remember that season. She used to say, control what you can control and the rest will take care of yourself. She used to say that and believe over and over and over and over again. But it works, apparently. One thing I always want to know from coaches is how coaching has affected their life. Playing for a great coach has changed my life, but honestly, how has it affected the coach's life? Lori Bird came back with this statement. I have now coached for 31 years. I have made an impression, some good, some bad, but hopefully good for the most part, on many young people, and they have grown into wonderful adults. It is a joy to see an athlete you have worked with become a successful citizen in her community, and to know that you had a small piece of what they did. Lastly, I asked Coach Bird what one thing is that she wants her players to take away from having her as a coach. She said, I would do anything for them. I believed in them, and I have loved the people I have coached. Some more than others, but I would never show that. I want them to know that in their part, they were the most important people for that job. Manager, sub, or player. I enjoyed what I was doing, and I wanted them to have fun in what they were doing. This conversation with Lori Bird was so eye-opening to me. I wanted to be her. I want to be her in the future, whether it is as an educator or as a coach. She's taught me so many life lessons over the years. So how can I take all of this to the classroom? Well, that's easy. I want to teach my kids that there's always room for improvement. One should never settle with being mediocre when the sky is the limit. You should always want to be the best person that you personally can be. Coaching is a lot like being in the classroom. As a classroom, we are a team, and we function as a unit. We can get a lot done as a single human being, but the things that we can do as a unit can be far more wonderful than what one person can do by themselves. Teamwork makes the dream work, in the classroom and on the court. In the classroom, I cannot preach on how important the little things are. Just like they are on the court, it's important to make sure your D's and B's face the right way. It's important to make sure that you know the difference between 2 with 1 O and 2 with 2 O's. The little things are huge. Fundamentals are huge. If you can focus on the fundamentals, then you won't have to worry about them when trying to tackle the big picture, like writing your first 5-paragraph essay. Life lessons are also a huge thing to focus on in the classroom. Your kids need to know that they're loved. They need to know that they're capable of anything that they wish to be. The sky is the limit. But most importantly, they need to know that their teacher in the classroom believes in them. Knowing someone believes in you can make all of the difference. Believe you deserve it, and the universe will serve it.